everyone. Just reaching for my drink. Right, I've got 10 minutes to 10, 11 minutes, 12 maximum, because I've given myself a time that I want to set off on the walk by. And obviously I have to get out and change my socks, well, put 2 pairs on. So it's Tuesday and I don't know what's happened to my voice because it was fine a minute ago. And Wednesdays has not gone up yet. I don't know how I feel about this whole everyday video malarkey, and it might be to do with how I'm feeling. I'm not physically 100% well, and mentally I am struggling with my mental health, but this is like a distraction. Like, it distracts me for 10 minutes. If I'm anxious or feeling down, it sometimes... Where's that water coming from? It sometimes helps take my mind off things, and then sometimes even like 10 minutes, an hour afterwards, I still feel a little bit better because I've talked on here. Can you see her? So most people wouldn't discuss this, but you know I'm very open, well, as much as I can be on here. I had quite a serious fall on the dog walk yesterday, and the reason I'm out again today is because if I don't, as much as I wish I was in bed because I'm absolutely exhausted and everything else, if I don't come out today, then I'll have an excuse tomorrow. And I was going to do the same route, but because of the weather, it's been snowing a bit and it's very icy and slippy, I'm not going to do the same route. So I am getting back on the horse, as they say, but I'm not getting fully back on the horse because I can't do that route just because of the weather conditions. So yesterday I took her on her favourite route, and it's one of mine, to be honest, because it goes round. Well, you don't go round, but you go on or over a lot of different terrain, and you see a lot of different things, and I like it because it's kind of visually pleasing. This woman literally walked past. See, I was on like talking away, and she just turned round and stared at me, and when I looked at her she just looked away, and then she went a bit further down and she keeps looking back up at me. The hell? Strange behaviour. So we've not done her favourite route, and it is one of mine as well, but she loves it because of all the different things we see, and like, I don't know how to explain it. And we've not done it since before Christmas, because of the weather. The last time I did it was when it snowed a little bit and it was a little bit slippy, but it wasn't too slippy to do it, and part of it involves going on a road where there's no pavement, and it's only for a short distance. Like, you might be on it 30 seconds maximum, and on the, oh god, there's loads of people about to go past. On the other side there is a pavement, but the pavement stops like halfway along, so you might as well just be on the side that doesn't have a pavement, because you're only going to be on it like 20-30 seconds depending on how hard the dog's pulling. So I wouldn't say it was massively slippy, but it's slightly slippier than most surfaces, but I've never ever slipped. Like, what is wrong with my bloody throat? I'm probably just... It's probably dry because the amount of painkillers I've had to take this morning. Anyway, so most of it's like across grass and dirt tracks and stuff, but you do, and there's part of it that when it was snowing that time, before it heavily snowed, like there was a bit of frosty, I think it was more like frosty than anything, but it wasn't icy, it was just a little bit frosty and a little bit slippy. Going on part of that, this bit that you go on, the amount, like I did it about 3 times when it was a bit slippy but it hadn't snowed, but then when it snowed I couldn't do it, and then like I didn't go anywhere that had like paths or roads or anything. I tried to stick on grass, or like, do you know when they make paths but it's not made out of stone, but it's kind of muddy, kind of whatever kind of paths. That's what I was sticking to when it snowed. And then I didn't walk for a couple of weeks, and then I started walking again a couple of weeks ago. But I've been doing similar routes. So yesterday I was like, I'm going to do a favourite route. I decided before I left the house that's the route we were going to do, and it was all going really well until we got to this bit. Like I said, it involves a path that can be slippy at times, like even when it's not snowed, even if it's just a bit damp, and she always seems to pull at the worst times. But before you get to that, it's like this muddy ground. And when I went, I was glad I was wearing wellies yesterday, because I was sinking about 4 or 5 inches into this mud, and it was enveloping itself around my welly. So I'm trying to pull it out and carry on walking. Then we went on the path and she was like pulling me around. And then we go through another bit, and then we end up on a road. Now the road isn't busy, but people drive like idiots when they do drive in it. I'd say 70% of them are racing, like they're probably doing double the speed limit. But like, I rarely ever see cars. Like, I might see one, I might not see any, or I might see 3, but I never really see more than that, because I'm not on it long enough. And it's not a busy road. Is it a road or a street? I don't know what it is. Anyway, so we come round onto the road, and I decide to stay on the side of the road without a path, because as I said, the path stops and then there's no path on that side. I think there's a path further on, but I don't need to go that far on to stay on the path, so I would have to have crossed over anyway, and it was pointless crossing over to go a certain distance to cross back to still walk on the side of the road. Now the dog predominantly will walk not on the road. Well, she's on the road, obviously she's on the road with me, but she won't walk into the middle of the road or anything. She'll stay close to me because I make her, basically. Oh, someone's about to go past. I mean, I bet people just think I'm on the phone. So I'm not very far on this road, and a car starts coming, and because there was a car parked on the other side of the road, there wasn't as much room for the car to move away from us that much. Like, there was room, so I pull her in, and as it goes past, she kind of pulls away from me a little bit, but into the road, but there was nothing coming. Next thing I know, I'm on the floor. Not only, I don't know why I'm laughing, I weren't laughing at the time, I went into a bit of shock. I fell onto my left knee, just one knee. I mean, I'm glad it was only one knee, because I have hurt myself. The other leg kind of went out to the side, and instead of staying on my knee, and I think it was because I didn't fall on both knees, obviously because I fell on one knee, I had the dog lead in my hand. As you can see, I have injured my fingers. I had the dog lead in my hand, and I had gloves on, yet I've still managed to pull the skin off. The swelling's gone down on that. This hand never hit the floor. I had clean gloves on. Anyway, so I carried on going forwards. Didn't hit my head because somehow I put this hand down, but it was holding the lead, so it went down like that. So I immediately got back up, and I couldn't remember any of this until like it started to come back to me afterwards. Not straight away afterwards, I mean like after I got home, and last night I remembered more. So I immediately got up, because obviously I'm on the floor in the road with my dog. I mean, she went on the floor, she was probably thinking, what the hell are you doing on the floor? Well, if you didn't pull me after a car went past, I may not have ended up on the floor, but I may have done. I don't know, I can't say either way, because I don't know what would have happened if she hadn't pulled at that point. She might have pulled further on, and I might have fallen then. So what did happen? I kind of crossed the road. Well, I got up immediately, which I didn't even think about. I think that was just a natural reaction. I just got up, because obviously I'm in the bloody road, and they race up there, especially from the direction of the side of the road I was on. Traffic was coming at me, the side of the road I was on, and they race up there. Like, I'd say like 80% of them definitely race up. So yeah, I just got up, walked, well, I wouldn't say I walked across the road, but I got to the other side, I don't know how, and then wanted to cry, but someone was like walking up on my side, so I'm kind of trying to hold it together. I have the same outfit, well, I don't have the full same outfit on, I've got the same joggers on because I washed them last night. Even though I have an identical pair, I ended up with these ones back on today because I picked up something next to it that I'd washed yesterday. So I've ended up with the same joggers on, with thermal leggings on today, thermal vest on, a t-shirt, a jumper. So it's almost identical, except for I didn't have a vest on yesterday, I just had a t-shirt. So I have thermal vest, thermal leggings instead of normal leggings, but everything else is the same. Well, it's the same type of outfit, but it's not the same items except for the jumper and joggers. So I didn't know what to do, and because of the excruciating pain I was in, and the pain was getting worse, I rang my dad, which I shouldn't have done because of how long it took, and I ended up being so cold I didn't get warm again until the middle of the night. Rang my dad because I at that point didn't think I could walk, because every time I tried to put weight on my leg, my left leg, it felt like someone was stabbing glass into, and it's literally just the bottom of my knee, like, you know, you have your knee and then you have that bit there, that line there, it's that big, it's a massive lump on it. So I rang him and I'm like, I've had a bad fall with the dog, because it was a bad fall. Like, if I'd fallen on mud or grass or somewhere else, like if it weren't like a bloody tarmacked road, it probably wouldn't have hurt as much, and I probably would have got up, probably stood there for a minute or two, and then probably carried on walking, because it wouldn't have hurt as much. It probably hurt, but not as much. So he said he'd come for me, and I'm stood there and I'm like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then I started to get really irritated because I was getting cold. The dog was trying to get me to carry on with the walk and constantly trying to pull me. People were walking past, some people were walking with dogs, so she was trying to go to the dogs because she wanted to play with the dogs. I'm getting cold because it was 0 degrees, felt like -3. So I'm cold, getting irritated. I'm texting him like, how long are you going to be? Then I took a few steps, and even though it was painful, it wasn't as painful as it was initially when I tried to put weight on it. And then I'm thinking, should I set off on the walk back? But he could have found me up until a certain point, and then, because I don't go back the way that I came, I kind of carry on and then go down something else, even though eventually I do get back to where I've come from. And I was like, should I carry on walking because I need to heat up? And then I'm like, what if he gets to where I've told him I am, and then he doesn't like see me? He might carry on driving, and there's 3 possible ways I could have gone. So I stood there and I'm standing there and I'm standing, I think it took him over 35 minutes to drive what takes 10 minutes, but my dad's never in a hurry to get anywhere, and he was actually talking to someone, and he would have carried on his conversation, then come and got me. So he come and got me, and he brought me back to my car. Literally, I think I'm in a similar space, well, similar side of the road. And as we're getting close, I'm like, am I going to be able to drive home, because I've got to change gears? I said, I might have to swap cars with you just to go home, because this is automatic, mine isn't. So he's like, well, get in your car and turn it round and see how it feels when you're changing gear. Now, I only needed to change it, well, to put it in gear and change gear once, so that wasn't really a good indicator. It hurt, but it wasn't excruciating. But when I did drive home, and he had the dog with him, because I was going to put the dog in with me, and he's like, well, you might as well keep her here, I'll bring her home. I couldn't keep it in gear. You know, like sometimes you stop at lights and you might hold it on the clutch because you might be at the lights 20 seconds. I couldn't do that. I couldn't hold it down. Like, I could put it in gear quickly, but I couldn't hold it down. So I'd have to take it out of gear if I got stopped anywhere, like traffic lights or anything. Walking downstairs I couldn't do. I had to, you know, when you take one step and then you go down one and then put the other one on the same one instead of going 1 1 1 1. So I was having to go down with my left leg straight, then put my right leg down. But then, because your brain thinks you go 1 1 1 1, I kept trying to go on to the next step and do one at a time. instead of 1 1 1 1. I was like 1 1 1 1 down them, and I kept forgetting. The swelling's gone down a lot. It's badly bruised, although it's not. The bruises haven't come up fully. It's still swollen, but not as bad. It is very, very painful. The skin's come off in 5 areas. Like, how have I done that when I had leggings on and joggers? How did I still scrape the skin off? It's not like my knee actually hit the floor bare, and it's literally, say that's my knee, it's this bit just underneath it. But yeah, I went to bed with a hot water bottle. I was shivering at the hot water bottle, and then I got too hot. I got the window open, my fan on really high. Then I woke up with a migraine. I was awake for about 1 hour and 20 in the night, and then I eventually went downstairs and got migraine tablets. Went back upstairs, took me about half an hour to get back to sleep. She woke me up when she went to get up. I let her out the room and decided to go back to sleep. But yeah, so I had quite a bad fall, and then I was thinking maybe there was black ice there because it had frozen, and where it was is the place that doesn't get much sun. So if there was black ice, that's potentially what I slipped on, because yeah, it's slippy earth than most places, but it's not slippy enough to pull you over like that. And it literally, I didn't even, do you know when you sometimes slip and you slip and then fall over because you slip, like you slip and then you fall? It was literally just fell over. Like, there was literally no like big slip or anything. So yeah, and at the time I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't remember how it happened. Like, I was just in shock, and the shock didn't start to wear off until last night, because I was just like, I was actually, when I was waiting for my dad, I started filming and talking about it, because you know when you're in pain and you need a distraction. I just filmed, and I haven't even watched it. Who knows what I went on about? But yeah, out of all the times I could have fallen, I thought it was, do you know when it snowed and it snowed. The snow was around for days and people had walked on it, and I was parked here, I think, and I couldn't get out because it was so slippy during Vlogmas. And remember, I kept putting my foot down, it kept slipping, and I had to turn my car around to get out on the other side where no one had walked. That's the time I thought, out of any time I'm going to fall, it would have been then, and it wasn't. And the day that I don't think I'm going to fall, well, you don't think about it, you don't go think, oh, I might not fall today, or I will fall today. I just didn't think I would fall because it wasn't slippy. So I think there was some black ice there, and like I said, I was going to do that walk today, but the weather's been, it snowed a little bit, and then it was like hailstoning a little bit, so I'm definitely not going to do it. And also, I'm setting off a lot later than yesterday. By the time I now go and put my socks on, I'll be 10 minutes behind yesterday. Even though I've got time for an hour walk, I don't think I'm going to do an hour because my knee is very sore, and because I was putting a lot more weight on my right side to put less pressure on my left knee. My hip, which is constantly in pain and has been really inflamed for weeks, is in agony. So, by the way, the migraine tablets didn't work. I've had 2 lots of painkillers today because I weren't going to keep taking migraine tablets, and I've still got a migraine. It's not as bad as it was. And I'm hoping the fresh air helps me. And when they've walked past with the dogs, I'm gonna go up and put my socks on and get on this walk ASAP, because I wanted to set off 3 minutes ago. And now I don't know what route to take on, because as I said, I was going to do that route, and I only decided not long before I came out that I weren't going to do that route. And I don't want to keep doing the same routes all the time with her. That's right, look into my car. The dog's moving around because you can see 2 dogs. Are those doggies? But there you go. I finally fell. First time I've fallen with it. I mean, the amount of times I've almost fallen, like if I had £1 for every time, I probably have made £500 by now, because it's been very close a lot of times. Just unfortunately, it happened on a very hard surface and not on a muddy path, or Joe, those paths where they're made out of natural things but they're not like whatever, that's where I'd prefer to fall.